Well, good morning, everyone. Thank you for joining us. Awesome. Early session, big room, but good crowd. So I'm excited you're here. I think hopefully you'll be excited you're here. We have some awesome, I think you guys all made the right choice starting right here today. So my name is Eric Bucock. I'm Director of Product Marketing on the Dynamics 365 team. So my team has, basically we curate a lot of the TDM or technical content for Microsoft, for our Dynamics products, and have curated this learning path. So curious, how many people are continuing kind of the entire learning path? Or people's popping in? So few are on the journey, and so I guess the rest of you are customer service people that want to understand and go deeper in customer service. So fabulous. Well, so joining me today, I've brought a star-studded cast along with me. I'm going to go through initially a little bit of the customer service capabilities. I have my peer Alpana here, who is actually going to give you a fabulous demonstration of our brand new omnichannel engagement experience. And my colleague Ben Vollmer is going to pick up and continue on with field service and show you some awesome capabilities in field service. So we got a lot of content. I'm going to really set the tone, go through it pretty quick because I want to actually see the product. I want you to see the product and experience these capabilities. So let's jump right into it. Really, when we look at customer service, so I think it sounds like a number of you are, even those continuing the journey and specific to customer service, are experiencing these trends. To deliver great customer experience, we ultimately need to look at how we can unify all the different ways interactions are coming in to individuals, make sure they have visibility into those customers and all those data points. Nobody hates more than to call somewhere, tell them who you are, give them all your details, then get bumped to someone else to be asked that same freaking question, right? So how do we break that down so we can deliver that amazing experience, giving them all the context of what they need? But then once we've actually delivered that and we've given them that visibility, AI and machine learning and insights to then come back and say, how are we doing? Where could we do better? Who do we need to help in that process to continuously be improving that process? So when I framed up the opener for Dynamics 365, all about this digital feedback loop of taking this data, bringing it into the common data service, and then feeding that funnel to constantly be improving that process. And all of these customer service, kind of these pillars here, or these requirements, are really underpinned by having a real rich, powerful omni-channel experience. And then going beyond that, when a particular customer service case can't be resolved, implementing field service and taking that ability to dispatch a technician, bringing them on site to fix some capabilities. This is really the growing trend here is around being proactive, getting monitoring and proactively servicing something or fixing something before it becomes an issue, connecting those systems and scheduling the right resources and the right technicians, and giving them rich capabilities to know exactly what they need to do and provide them those capabilities to actually finish that work order on site. So those are kind of the two chapters that we're going to hit within the context of this today. Microsoft's approach is really looking at this from the perspective of intelligent planning. We need to understand and route and plan the service and how we deliver these capabilities to our users through the power of AI and IoT, making sure we're intelligent. Ultimately then empowering our customer service teams, giving them an intuitive UI to bring this information together, embedded knowledge base, sentiment analysis, because this is all about proactive and positive customer experiences, making sure we're achieving that. And then personalizing that experience really through the omnichannel and understanding who customers are. We might have data across multiple systems. How do we bring that together? Implementing virtual agents on our websites and understanding trends and proactively identifying that trend. So taking really those core three, those first three areas and making sure it is delivered within a kind of a common platform with unified technology around our common data platform, automation, and administration. So powerful capabilities. This is the customer service journey. Not going to spend time really clicking through every bit of this, but if you look at this, we really tried to step back and say there's the customer service and field service. What do we mean by that? And what is this journey of how does a customer meet with us? And really, how does our technology all play in the flow? So graphical representation, the whole world of customer service right there. Customer service, and then if something happens, field service. This is again, like my team's technical product marketing, love a good architecture, love a good process flow diagram. So really trying to take the depths of all of this powerful stuff and put it in a visual here for you to see. So I'm gonna start off by focusing on the customer service side. And that visual will come up later on in the slide as well. So customer service, so we basically took the branch off about identifying, dispatching a technician, and routing through this particular scenario. So to do this, the architecture view, there is a lot of things a really powerful customer service organization needs to do to empower these types of experiences. Customers are coming at the organization from many different channels, and the organization needs to support that because, again, this is customer service. This is about empowering us to meet the customers where they are and deliver the experience that they want to actually achieve. And then all of the different communication channels from which that can come through. So we need to take that personalized service experience, perhaps implement a bot, or some means of then engaging the agent. So bringing in the core agent experience, the core customer service, cases, knowledge base, et cetera, identifying those next best actions, surveys, making sure we're doing well, then ultimately having that analytical view of what's going on in the organization. Are we achieving our goals? And again, as I mentioned, no customer service organization is exactly the same, so having that rich, powerful underpinning of technology to extend, automate, and build in and connect into other applications that you have in your organization. So this is kind of just at the core what customer service organizations need to consider. This is the view of what we actually provide within that realm. The core of what we're going to start with today is around Dynamics customer service, 365 customer service. The teal our product names and the product capabilities. So core customer service, the different, we have channel integration frameworks and surveys with Forms Pro, how this all comes together. So really a robust technology stack when all put together in a seamless fashion for your organization, which is what we at Microsoft strive to do, is deliver this so that you see how all this power comes together into an amazing experience for your organization. To do this, this really all comes together in the notion of omnichannel, right? We had a lot of channels coming in, a lot of different customer types. So how do we take all those channels, build it on the foundation of traditional customer service capabilities, knowledge base, cases, and then put really that agent at the center to say, I'm going to get these interactions coming at me from every direction. How do I have exactly what I need? And how does the right agent get the right details for what they need to deliver that amazing customer experience? We do that through the omnichannel engagement experience, and again, by bringing that AI and the powerful machine learning capabilities underneath all of that to empower those experiences. So there's three main experience types for customer service. There's three kind of user experiences: the customer service hub, omnichannel on the browser, and then the omnichannel on our unified service desk. I'm going to quickly touch on each of these. So traditional customer service in Dynamics 365 service application is the customer service hub. This is the web-based application, dashboard view, so I can prioritize my cases, log in. It's a single session. I'm a user. I'm working on cases. I'm looking at my knowledge base. It has all of these capabilities to really empower customer service. We've added the channel integration framework, which allows you to actually extend and bring in additional capabilities, like in this case, a dialer. So enabling that ability to actually contact and extend to actually have those touch points with the customers. The next experience, and this is what Alpana is going to actually show you in action, is the new omni-channel experience. This is where when you start thinking of more higher volume customer service, when calls are coming in, I need to know who's this customer, what's the channel that I actually can communicate with them, and how can I pull their data together in a quick fashion. So it's multi-session, brings that information together so that that customer service rep can know what's going on with that customer and interact with them where they're actually interacting with us. And the third was that omni-channel experience in our unified service desk. This is a client-based application where really the power of that, because it is a client-based application, that client-based application can connect to more of the client or PC-based applications and have more extensibility options to deliver a specific experience for the organization. Lots of different needs within the customer service space, so giving you different flavors of tools to actually make sure you're achieving that. So, obviously, customer service is about delivering those frameworks for our agents, but now we need to talk about how we're actually engaging with that customer. So it starts with chat. We have out-of-the-box chat capabilities to bring that ability to have that customer actually hit our website, bring that interaction directly into the Dynamics 365 experience. SMS, we can put in, everybody's probably familiar with this, putting in an SMS, getting that text message back, validating that yes, I can send SMSs. So now I can have a communication channel with the customer over SMS. Virtual agents. So if many of you are involved with customer service, your organization has customer service, you probably have built a bot or leveraged a bot, perhaps using Azure Bot Framework, the ability to actually bring and use that capability you have into these experiences so you can actually leverage your own bots. But hopefully you've seen in the keynote and many other sessions, we now have the Dynamics 365, actually it's funny, we did the name announced, so actually we already have to update our slide. So now Power Virtual Agent, so that we've made it really simple for organizations to really in a declarative fashion go in and build virtual agents for your organization. So now it's no longer just an IT department building out bots using the bot framework. It's really a more simple process in a declarative nature to build these bots and put them on your website to have these amazing customer experiences. Customer service, obviously all about delivering positive service, because that's really the goal of what we want to achieve. Having sentiment in all of those channels. When we talk about the SMS and the chat, the ability to actually capture and track the sentiment of those channels so that we can continue to make sure we're refining and delivering positive customer service experiences. Routing is taking that ability when cases come in, based on skills of agents, make sure we can automatically route those right customer service cases to those right agents based on their skills. And really at the core of customer service, we can't actually support service without just pure customer service case management. The ability to create a case, have knowledge base, and have details actually intelligently provided to me based on case topics so that I can actually aggregate all this information and track how I'm actually performing with this customer, bringing in SLAs, et cetera. In using Microsoft Flow, or now Power Automate, we're able to actually build these processes so that we can create business processes across the organization to really light this all up. And I think this is last, but actually almost not least. Now that we have all of this technology, all of these capabilities, all within the core of just Dynamics 365, we want to take that data and do something with that data. So as an organization, we've been adding these analytical apps. So we have customer service insights, where it looks at all of that customer service data, and using AI or like semantic modeling can look at cases and try to define trends for you that you wouldn't normally see by just looking at those cases, and start to actually give you some scenarios where I'm seeing an increased volume based around this type of a thing. This would maybe be a great case for a virtual agent. Drop a virtual agent, deflect that, and kind of rinse and repeat. So you're always adjusting the data based on those intelligent insights that are coming into the application. And with that, let me pass it to Alpana, because she has a fabulous demo of omnichannel here. So take it away, Alpana.
Thank you, Eric. Good morning, everyone. So glad to be here, and thank you for joining this session. Given the wonderful introduction by Eric about omnichannel, the three key pillars that we have is providing a channel of preference and choice to customers, which is the omnichannel aspect. And second one is providing persona-based, personalized experiences to our different personas in the system, be it your customer, be it your agent or supervisor. And third one is infusing all the AI-based capabilities that we have across Microsoft, bringing that in right when your customer needs it, or when your agent needs it, or when your supervisor needs it. So those are the three pillars which I'm going to show you in the demo today. And as we browse through the demo, we will align each of the features that we are going to show with these three pillars. Yeah? And what we are going to see in the demo is just like a high-level overview. We have deep dive sessions following today. Right at 1 o'clock, we have agent experience deep dive, and followed by that, we have SIF V2. And on Thursday and Friday, we have deep dive sessions on supervisor experience, as well as entire session dedicated for Omnichannel Engagement Hub. All right, on that note, let's get started. Perfect. So how many of you already know about the unified service desk offering that we have? Wonderful. Yeah, so as you may know, unified service desk is a thick client application. So while it comes with a lot of great capabilities of LOB app integration, one of the main asks from different customers has been, can we have similar multi-session experiences on a browser? So that's what exactly we have answered to. As you can see, what I'm showing on my screen right now is omnichannel for customer service. This provides the agent multi-session, multi-app experiences right in the browser. So no more thick desktop installations, so you can be free of the maintenance hassles and all those things. Yeah. So as you can see, all the core customer service key capabilities like dashboards, case management, SLA, everything is available to the agent right within Omnichannel for Customer Service. So if you have made investments into providing or creating new forms or entities inside customer service, you can take advantage of all those existing customizations that you have done in Customer Service Hub. Now here I'm on the Tier 1 dashboard, and on my left panel is the session panel. Here I'm having home panel, and I also have 2 case sessions, printer is making noise, and product manual. So that's the agent persona that we have. And quickly moving on, the next thing that I want to talk about is the channels that we have for customers. Now, given the fact that, hey, we had Skype before and Microsoft as a company has Teams, one of the most popular questions was, can we have chat in Dynamics 365 as an enterprise offering to different organizations? And that is exactly what we have responded to. So we collaborated with the same messaging platform team. Thanks to Steve, he's here amongst us today. So we are using the same messaging substrate that is being used by Teams today. And on top of that, we are providing this chat experience. So what you get is an embeddable widget, which is nothing but a JavaScript code that you can plug and play on a Dynamics 365 web-based portal or any of your custom website. Now, once you embed that widget, you can also hook up with a Microsoft Bot Framework bot to optimize the customer experience and optimize your agent experience as well. And as well as you can also bring in Power Virtual Agents. All right, so in this particular case, I have already logged in as MakeGifts on the portal, and I have initiated a chat. And you can have as many widgets as you want. Like for example, if you want to have one chat widget with a pre-chat survey on one site, and if you want to add another chat widget with a bot conversation on another site, you can do that too. Now here I am starting my conversation with the bot, and let me tell to the bot that, hey, my printer is making a lot of noise. Can you help me with some troubleshooting guides? So immediately the bot is trained to respond on this particular problem, and it responds me with a KB article. Let me say that, hey, yes, that helped. And the bot is asking, is there anything else that I can help you with? Now, I'm telling the bot that I had returned an order of printers last week, and I'm trying to track my refund, which I have not received yet. Now, in this particular case, the bot is trained to automatically look up for the orders pertaining to MakeGifts, who is the logged in user on the portal, and it is pre-populating the orders for me, and it is suggesting me that, hey, there are 2 orders. Which one do you want to track for refund? Now let me say that, hey, I want to track refund for the one that ends with 3212. Now there are 2 main use cases here. First one is that the bot is trying to do a self-serve for all the simple use cases, and hence leaving your agents with more complex items which actually need human engagement. And secondly, the bot is also trained for automatic escalation use cases. In this particular case, for this particular order, the bot is escalating the conversation to a live agent. Now, I'm flipping the persona from customer to an agent, and as you can see, I'm back on my omnichannel for customer service multi-session experience, and I have this beautiful notification that is giving me heads up saying that you have an incoming chat conversation. I also have a lot of other parameters in the notification. Again, we will go deep dive into all these aspects in the session at 1 o'clock. So in the interest of time, I'll just go ahead and accept. The moment I accept, you will see that on my left-hand side, along with the case session that I was working on for, say, product manuals, I have a chat session which is getting launched. And in this chat session, as I mentioned, we are infusing AI-based capabilities that Microsoft has right where the agent needs. As you can see on the top, we have real-time sentiment, which clearly tells me that currently the sentiment of this conversation is slightly positive. Not only that, it's a complete warm transfer. So all the messages that were exchanged between the bot and the customer are persisted. Not only that, using the Azure APIs, you can also create a summary of this particular conversation and provide to the agent. Again, we will deep dive into all the aspects in the 1 o'clock session. But on my right-hand side, you will see a lot of customer 360 information that is pre-populated for the agent. Now, as the agent responds back, you can start seeing that the agent script gets loaded and the knowledge article gets loaded, and I have like a complete 360-degree view of what the customer was doing before, or what the entire journey of this customer has been, and that's what we have as the customer 360-degree information for this particular agent for May Gibbs. Now, since we were talking about channel of choice, now I'm going to ask you a very dumb question, and you can laugh out loud as much as you want. How many of you are there on Facebook? Yeah? Yeah. And how many of you have tried to reach out to an organization on Facebook for support? Yeah. So a lot of statistics today show that social media is being leveraged heavily for customer support use cases, because customers know that brands are under pressure when they ask about questions on social media. Not only that, brands also have a great opportunity to showcase their customer service and support skills on social channels, because that can turn your users into brand advocates. Now, let me show you the next key capability that we have inside Omnichannel. So what we give you in preview is Facebook Direct Messenger integration into Omnichannel. And here I am, again, another customer, Patrick, who is on Facebook, visiting Contoso's website. And right from here, using the send message option that we have here, looking at the post of this particular smart printer, when a customer starts a conversation using the messenger, what happens on the customer side is that, what happens on the agent side is that as an agent, I get an exact similar notification just like the way I got it for chat. So one of the key problems in the contact center industry is all these different tools operating in silos, and the amount of training that you need to provide to the agent to get accustomed to these different tools. So with Omnichannel, as an agent, I don't have to work across different tools. That's one. Second, I have all the experiences pretty similar across different channels. So the training cost and effort that's needed for agents is very minimal. Not only that, any productivity tool that we build for the agent is available across the board, across all channels. So things like Agent Script, Smart Assist, everything will be available across different channels. Now, not only that, you will also have channel-specific information as well. Like in this particular case, since this particular conversation was Facebook conversation, as an agent, I clearly know that, hey, this is a Facebook conversation, so treat it as like an asynchronous messaging as opposed to live chat. Yeah. Now, that is the second channel of choice that we have. Let me quickly switch to the third channel of choice that we've got. Now, SMS is also picking up as one of the channels, and for SMS, we have partnered with a company called Telesign. So you can get a Telesign number, a long code number, short code number, plug that into Omnichannel admin experience, and when I start a SMS conversation, say that I want to reschedule my appointment and I'm already driving and I'm running really late. So at this particular point in time, what happens is that the SMS that has been sent by the customer goes through the same messaging pipeline of Telesign for SMS, and if the routing rules are configured right, yes, in this particular case, you see that an SMS toast notification pops up right here. Not only that, based on the number where the SMS got initiated from, the system is trying to pre-populate the information about Maria as well. The moment I accept the conversation, again, just like the way the session got launched for chat, Facebook, a session gets launched for SMS as well. And all the productivity tools that were available to the customer are available to the agent are available to the agent on SMS as well. Last but not the least, one of the other and most important channels that we have in the omnichannel space is call. So call today is still one of the most popular channels. And how many of you know about CIF v1? So CIF v1 is the channel integration framework with v1, which allows you to embed soft phones inside our customer service hub application. Now what we are coming up with is CIF v2, wherein we are providing you a capability to have an incoming call conversation right within Omnichannel Engagement Hub as a new session. Now when this conversation goes through, again, just like the way we saw it for chat, I have an incoming call notification. The moment I accept, a new session will get launched. Let me hang up, otherwise there'll be a lot of echo. Yeah. So as you saw, the soft phone can get embedded right within Omnichannel, and you have multi-session, multi-app experiences available to you on call as well. Yeah. So those are the different agent experiences and customer channel options that we have. And to finally conclude, we also have a lot of supervisor experiences, starting from an ability to monitor all your conversations in a real-time manner, to join Whisper Barge, and also we provide a lot of great insight capabilities through out-of-the-box templatized dashboards. Again, just to recall, this is just a high-level overview of all the capabilities. We have deep dive sessions at like 1 o'clock today on agent experience, and on Thursday for supervisor experience, on Friday for entire Omnichannel Engagement Hub. On that note, thank you so much. Back to you.
Did you want to cover pipe?
Oh, yeah. So, can you hear me? Perfect. So as you see, today chat is available in GA and SMS is available in GA. We are working towards a great future investment as well. The journey doesn't stop here. We will continue our investments inside Omnichannel Engagement Hub to provide you a lot of other third-party channels as well. So today, Azure BoT Framework provides a lot of integration capabilities to third-party channels. So we'll continue our investments. Facebook is just our first steps there. And you will start seeing a lot of other channels as well. Not only that, the experiences which are like persona-based, like for example, agent experiences and supervisor experiences, you will start seeing a lot of AI-based tooling in there to improvise your persona-based experiences. So thank you so much. Back to you.
Thank you, ma'am. All right, we're going to pop over here to the kind of the Eric's famous architecture slide. And when we talk about architecture, by the way, we're going to move away from customer service into an area I like to talk about, which is field service. See if I can get this up just a little bit higher there to stop it buzzing. When we talk about field service, there's a few things that is interesting. About 65% of all calls that come into a call center result in a technician being dispatched. So when you think about that for a second, that's a lot of calls given on a daily basis that end up having a technician being dispatched to help solve those. So really field service is kind of the second half of customer service. It's really the human-to-human interaction. But when we think about that from a field service perspective, we saw a lot of the stuff in omnichannel and in customer care that kind of is the top half here. So we see a lot of things that come into functions that enable field service on the customer experience side and talking to the customer. What's unique about field service more recently is that this has gone from being an island off kind of the coast of customer service to being a core item and a core element in the customer experience, the customer journey. Down below that we have some functions that talk about customer service. We'll talk a lot about, for example, assets. Has anybody here ever tried to query what products a customer owns in Dynamics? Come on, you know you have. Successfully tried to query. Okay, okay, good. Not alone then. Okay, so things like customer assets, we'll talk about that in a minute here. So on the actual things that Dynamics 365 provides, we integrate very closely with customer care. So I'm not going to show you a lot of that today, but there's a way you can take a case and flip a case over to being a work order. We also do a lot of work around asset management, asset registrations. But the scenario we're going to talk about today is actually twofold. We're going to talk about actually a machine talking to dynamics instead of a human talking to dynamics. I'm going to blast through these slides here for the sake of making the demo the most concise we can. Work orders are kind of the core of field service, so we'll get into the work orders here. We're going to need to predict needs, so what are my skills, where are my requirements for this job going to come in at? We also have a lot of information around devices, so we'll show the device data here in a few minutes. IoT Hub, there's actually 2 more deep dive sessions this week on field service. One of them will be going into this architecture in a nauseating amount of detail. So if you want to come hang out and hear me talk for an hour, which I wouldn't suggest, but if you can, if you want to, we're going to talk about the connected field service and how these things work with both IoT Hub and IoT Central. 2 other areas we can talk about here is universal resource scheduling and resource schedule optimization. We're not going to show those today, but the thing about URS or universal resource scheduling is it allows you to really schedule anything. So we're using it in the context of work orders today. There are also situations where you might need to schedule things like, my favorite example, by the way, has been a schedule a courthouse. So I need to go to a courthouse. I need a courtroom of a certain size with a certain type of judge, which means I have a certain type of court reporter. It's all there. And resource schedule optimization allows me to get the right people to the right time automatically depending on where I'm at. Another core difference between, I think, field service and customer service or even Salesforce automation is that your mobile app, and I'm not going to show this today because we have 13 minutes left, but the mobile app is really a core user experience. So your technicians are going to live inside the mobile app for their entire time. So really having a robust mobile offline and mobile app experience is super important. So one of the things field service has in it is a phenomenal mobile app that allows your technicians to work anywhere, anytime, regardless of internet connectivity or not. The 2 last areas I think that kind of pick up here, and there's actually 2 more deep dive sessions. I think Marcio's got one going on right now, actually, is around mixed reality. You guys have all seen the HoloLens, right? Woo-hoo. Everyone to buy a HoloLens? Yeah, okay, me too. Not going to happen anytime soon, but one day I'll get one again. But how about putting that power in the power of your hands? So one of the things we've done actually with Remote Assist, for example, is Remote Assist Mobile runs on iOS devices and Android devices that support AR Core. So if you have an iPad, an iPhone, an Android tablet, or an Android phone, you can use Remote Assist embedded directly in Dynamics 365 Field Service. So you can really provide remote guidance to people who are not necessarily in the same building you are. The other thing we see is training. Training for field service technicians is much less than it was 10 years ago, 20 years ago, 5 years ago even. Most technicians now get the minimum of a week, maximum of 2 weeks. They come in, they train them, and they spit them back out in the field. So Guides provides just-in-time training for technicians on the job site. How do I perform an activity? How do I perform an action? And so this Guides is actually also integrated into field service, so we can actually see what guide somebody did. So we have a guided experience for the end user. We're not going to show these sessions here, but there are actually 2 sessions going on showing both Remote Assist and Guides integrated into the Dynamics 365 platform. All right, so we're now going to flip over and do a demo. I'm going to see if my sacrifice to demo gods this morning actually made it. All right, so far so good. You guys see my screen? All right, good. Whew, sacrifice. First sacrifice paid off. Now the next one. Unlike the earlier demo we saw, where it's really human-to-human interaction, right? Human-to-human interaction is great. We need it in life. We get most of our things today that way. What about a machine to human interaction? So what we're looking at here is actually a list of what we call IoT alerts in field service. These are a list of anomalies that have hit the system that we are monitoring. So what's an anomaly? If the temperature of this room is always 21 degrees Celsius or 70 degrees Fahrenheit, and all of a sudden it spikes to 85 because there's a lot of hot air coming from the stage, a lot, then what should we do? We should probably dispatch an HVAC technician here to come out and fix the air conditioning unit to cool this room down a little bit. So we don't need a human to do that. Like you guys can all pick your phone up right now and call the call center and say, hey, the HVAC system, it's hot in here. What will we do? We'd create a bunch of work orders. We would create a bunch of cases. We'd create a bunch of work, and we won't get anything done any faster. So what we actually do have here is IoT alerts. So the idea here is the machine is actually saying, hey, I have a problem, somebody come fix me. Now there's two things we can do here. One is we can take this IoT alert and we can create a case with it. So we don't always have to create a work order, so it doesn't have to go straight into a work order. We can create a case so a call center agent can work through it, and if they can't get it fixed, and then we escalate it up to a work order. But really the first thing we're looking at here is really an IoT alert. And if I drill in here, you can see I have a number of alerts, where it came from, what alert type it is. And so we have a ton of alerts we can look at. Looks at my threshold and my temperature here. So you can see the temperature in this room has exceeded, well, okay, there's a lot of hot air coming from the stage here because it's 90 degrees up here instead of 70. And a suit jacket, it is really hot up here. But we also have things like we pull the actual device data down and we allow you to look at it. Now, if I actually look at the IoT device itself, so here is my actual device itself. So I can take the alert data and I can pull it over. I can actually pull then the device data and pull it over. Now, you're going to hear some sessions, you've been in IoT sessions about things like digital twins and the ability to look at the data. We can actually pull device data directly from the device and synchronize it into Dynamics 365. So instead of having to build a user interface to device twins in Azure IoT Hub, we actually pull that directly here. We also allow you to do things like tie this back to a product, tie this back to an asset, and then have those assets be hierarchical in nature. So you can have one asset own another asset, which own another asset, which might have 15 devices underneath of it. And the whole nice thing about that is that then allows us to be able to go through things like commands. So command and control is what? If I have this device here that's running, I may want to send a reset command before I send a technician out. Or if this room is hot, I may want to turn the air conditioning on automatically, remotely, versus coming in the room and flipping the switch that says air conditioning on. So field service allows for a much richer tying of the customer's assets, the things they own or things we own, tied directly into the anomalies to get the technicians out there. Now the next thing that we look at when we think about field service is really the resources, right? Who are my people? Now the cool thing about the way field service is created and run is every one of these work orders becomes skills-based. So if I am going to repair an air conditioning system, my skills will probably be different than it would be if I was repairing a swimming pool, thank goodness for that, or an oil rig. So here are a list of all of my resources. So I have the ability to have resources here. And as you can see, these resources can be both people, or they can be pieces of equipment. So I can actually book out pieces of equipment along with my resource jobs. So they can be both user-based as well as equipment-based, and everything can have their own set of parameters to them here. So if I look here, I find my friend Spencer here. I'll pick Sven instead. So here's Sven. You can see that I have now a list of skills that Sven has. So I can now maintain a full list of skills that says Sven, he's good with inkjet reprinters. So that inkjet trade-in we want to do, we have Sven go out and do the repair because he's good at it. But I may also say that I am proficient at heat bed sensor replacement, or he might be skilled, which is actually higher than good or proficient in doing something. So this allows us to not only have our resources, but also have our resources that have the most skills. Now we see two use cases for this. One is, you're gonna go, and Ben. The other you're gonna go, hadn't thought of that before. In the busy season, we want the most skilled resource dispatched to fix that problem as fast as possible. Eric is better at fixing air conditioning systems than I am. I'm better at fixing swimming pools than Eric is. So it makes sense for us in the busy season to work together. Now, what would happen though, is if in the off season, I wanted to train Eric to be better at swimming pools. So in the off season, I might give Eric more swimming pools because he's less proficient to build his proficiency up. So you actually see two use cases. One is send the most skilled, proficient person, and the second one is send the least proficient person to hopefully either make them proficient or fire them, whichever one we so see fit. And here, again, here's our work orders. We're not going to go into all these all day long, but you see work orders are sitting here. Each work order is assigned a work order task, and a set of what we call service tasks. So these are the things that a technician has to do on the job site to actually make the job finish. So the idea is every time you have a different set of jobs, so if I'm here to reset the air conditioning system in this building, I might have a different set of skills or service tasks than if I'm resetting the heat pump in the building. So we actually have the ability to do service tasks. And these then also hit manually automatically down to the technician's phone. So he or she can do those service tasks while remote. And then of course, last but not least, we have what everybody thinks about when they think of field service, which is what? The schedule board. Everybody says field service, they go schedule board. I will just tell you, by the way, the cool thing about the way we design field services is universal resource scheduling. You can actually use any object in Dynamics against the schedule board. Want to schedule cases this way? Great. Want to schedule opportunities this way, leads this way? Everything we have in Dynamics from a platform perspective is available to you using the schedule board. I have the ability to look at, here's my open requirements, here's my unscheduled work orders, here are bookings. So I have the ability to actually look at schedules differently and in different ways across the board. So the schedule board allows me to have both my list of my resources, their skills, the jobs they have open to them, as well as see where those resources actually are. In the interest of time here, so we're making continued investments. It's actually 4 ways here. First one, resource scheduling. Making resource scheduling much more robust. It's probably one of the biggest single areas of investments we have, which is resource scheduling. The second way is technician success. The average first-time fix rate today is 74%, which means 26% of the time a technician goes on the job site and has to go out and make 1.5 more visits. So we want to make sure that that technician goes on the job site, they have the information they need, and the man they need to do it to make them successful. That'd be via the mobile client, whether via work instructions, or via be able to use mixed reality applications, which help leverage field service in the best way possible. Proactive service, being able to look at the device stream coming off and saying this is a high priority item, this is a low priority item, or last time we fixed this item, here's the parts required. Next time we fix this item, here's the parts required. And then again, service insights, being able to look at all that data across the board. So we kind of just touched on the surface today of a bunch of stuff. So we did a drive-by of 1,000 different features we could spend a lot more time going into depth on. 2 things, there is a customer service, so work with cases in Dynamics 365 for customer service later, and a connected field service with Dynamics 365 and Azure IoT. We're taking much more in-depth view of those 2 things, so come on over and watch those 2 sessions if you can. And also go to learn.com or learn.docs on the docs site, which will help you earn badges toward what you've learned here today. So with that, thank you. And if you have any sessions, our next session is going to be on the Dynamics 365 Finance, modernizing the finance and supply chain. And don't forget your evals.